Welcome to Us Crazy Christians, where we uncover Christian myths and Bible misinterpretations with common sense Christianity. I'm your host, William E. Smith, and today we're going to do part one of A Letter to My Children. Stick around. Lately, I've been doing a lot of counseling, and I noticed that the relationship between myself and my children tends to come up a lot during these counseling sessions. Mainly in reference to my many mistakes and all the lessons I've learned from all the errors I've made in judgment. So these videos are to my children, but I believe they could be a blessing to you as well. Maybe you can learn from my mistakes and do a better job yourself. Before I get into it, do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. If you're a returning guest and haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's free. Plus, hit the notifications bell to be notified every time we post a new video. Now let's get into it. To the overly religious, what I'm about to say may seem blasphemous to you. But do me a favor, just hear me out all the way to the end before you storm off being offended. One of the best things I've ever done in my life was to get away from church. I even thought that I was getting away from God. I have been in church my entire life. I was sold out to God, a fanatical Christian. I called myself a Jesus freak. Church and God were the major theme of my entire life for my entire life. I did church religiously, and it ran my life for as far back as I can remember. And one of the best things that ever happened to me was to get away from it. If you want more detail about this period of my life, and why I left God in the church and how I found my way back, there's a video I did called Origins of Us Crazy Christians. I'll attach a link to that video at the end of this video. When I got away from church, when I got away from religion, what it did for me was it allowed me to be able to see God genuinely, clearly, without all the religious beliefs, the religious veil that I had placed over myself for many years of being raised with a lot of beliefs about God that were handed down to me from pastors and bishops and at the testimony service, other brothers and sisters in church. I began to see God closer, more clearly, more intimately. And it was amazing, life-changing. I started to realize what things were necessary for my life and what things weren't. I had grown up to believe that I needed to be in church every time the doors were open. There were times that I would go to church on a regular basis right after work, like during the week, and there would be no service going on. I would just go up there to pray, just to be in a church. I felt like that's where God was, that's where I wanted to be. So I kind of lived there. I slept at the church. It was crazy. But during this period, I started to see that church was not necessary for my life. Religion was not necessary for me. As a matter of fact, I began to see religion as a handicap, as almost an adversary to really truly getting to know God. I began to realize that true relationship with the loving Father God was something that I really never had. Thought I did. I had been his servant and he had been my master. I was his slave and he was my Lord, but he was never my father. And I realize now that that's all he really wanted to be, was my father. I served him out of necessity, the necessity of avoiding hell, the necessity of being on his good side so that he would defend me from anybody that would come against me to harm me, the necessity of believing that being a servant of God was my duty, was what I was born, created to do, was to serve God. But I was wrong. God was a loving father who wasn't looking for servants. He had angels for that. He was looking for sons and daughters, his children. I learned that God was looking for a loving, relationship, communication, fellowship with his children that he loved and adored and cherished. I felt like God really blessed me only if I did good, if I did right. And he only protected me if I kept doing right. If I messed up, then all hell would break loose and God could turn his back on me. I could even possibly go to hell if I didn't do things right. I had a moody relationship with God. Now, at the time, I would have never admitted that. But subconsciously, I felt that. I can admit it now because it's over with. But at the time, that would be something I would be too afraid to ever admit to even think about. Although I was blind to it, God was loving and cherishing and adoring me unconditionally, even though I never really realized it. But because of this religious separation, I began to be able to see all these good things about God, not attached to religion, just attached to his love and concern and compassion and care for me. He is absolutely lovely, beyond explanation. And I've still only begun to see the tip of the iceberg of the depths of his love for all of us, for myself, for you, for my children. I began to truly see the fruits of the Spirit that the Bible talks about, but I begin to see them as not just something I need to work up the strength to have in my life, but that they are God's Spirit. They are his compassion, his kindness, his meekness, his gentleness, his love. I've learned that there are a lot of parallels in my life with my relationship to religion and my relationship to my children. Probably because everything I did stemmed from my religious beliefs. I give more parenting parallels in my video, how I feel about pastors in churches, and I'll attach a link to that video at the end of this video. But with that said, in regards to my children, God showed me that instead of allowing him to be God in your lives, I became God in your lives. And not God in a good way, in a true way. I became God in the religious way, in the way I felt about God. That is the kind of God I portrayed in your life. And that was wrong. I wasn't God in his true essence, but I was the God made from religion and church. And not that I could have ever been the true essence of God. I could have tried to mimic it, which still would have been nice, but I shouldn't have tried to be God in your lives in any kind of way. I should have just pointed you towards him. But I was the religious God that I had created from church and from Bible misinterpretations and bad testimony services and opinions about God and etc. I was a false God in your lives, and I sincerely apologize for that. So I asked God, I said, after he showed me about my error, I said, so God, what do I do to rectify this? What do I do to fix this? And I believe God told me to get out of the way, William. Move out of the way and allow your children to see me for themselves. Allow them to see you without you being all up in their face. So I did. After you got older, I gave you more space and more freedom. I stopped trying to give you advice about every little thing that came to my mind and just periodically send you texts or call and say, hey, I love you. If you need me, I'm here for you. And just let you grow and let you breathe. To allow you to focus on life without your overbearing, fake God-acting dad trying to control your life. I know I have a very strong and dominant personality. I can suck all the air out of the room if I want to, I know that. So I felt like you needed some space from dad. You needed to grow up and live life on your own. I felt like I was freeing you from jail or from servitude. Kind of the same way I felt like I got freed from religion. I decided to stop trying to force myself on you and to force myself into your life, but just sit back, love you, let you breathe, let you grow, let you flourish, pray for you, be there for you, and just watch. I believe that over time, when you were ready, when you felt free for long enough, that you would come back close to me and you would then be able to see dad different. Also, an added unexpected benefit to me giving you space to grow It allowed me to be able to focus on myself and to grow myself. I began to learn how to love myself, to take care of myself, to value and respect myself. No wonder I couldn't be a good dad to you like I wanted to be. I couldn't love you like I wanted to. I didn't even love myself. But now I do. And likewise, I know better how to love and care for you. So whenever you were ready to come back close to Dad, Dad will be ready for you. Dad will be more compassionate, more understanding, more considerate, more wise, more knowledgeable, more loving, a better dad. I'm excited about that. Also, you will know better how to respond to Dad. Kind of how when I got away from under the thumb of religion, how I was able to see God more clearly. I was able to see his love for me more legitimately because all of the other exterior circumstances, veils, walls, beliefs were pulled and stripped away. And I'm believing that is the same thing that is happening with us. All these other things that were in the way, these misconceptions, errors, flaws are being pulled away, are dissolving. And you'll be able to see Dad better. Dad will be able to see you better. You can have a much healthier relationship with me, just like I have a much more healthy relationship with God. I'm excited about you, my children. I'm excited about the men and women that you've grown to be. You are already better parents to your children than I was to you. You're already better men and women at the current age you are than I was at your age. I'm excited about your future. I'm excited about what you're growing and becoming. I am so very proud of you, Justin, Emmanuel, Destiny, Daniel. I love and adore you. I'm also excited about part 2 of this video, what I want to share with you guys and with the Us Crazy Christian audience. And that video will come out next week. I love you with all my heart. If you want to see more from Us Crazy Christians, do me a favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit the notifications bell to be notified every time we post a new video. Is it possible that God is more loving, kind, and compassionate than we previously imagined? Thanks for watching Us Crazy Christians. Until next time, be blessed.